What are you watching?
A new TV series adapted from a novel that I love.
Good for you.
Oh, thank you. But I'm just a little bit disappointed with the how it compares to the original novel itself. I feel like the post-production is a bit exaggerated too much, so that the story doesn't feel believable anymore.
You know, that's actually a common problem with entertainment these days. Producers, directors, they tend to be so eager to adapt the original novel into films or television, but it tends to be a disappointment to their fans.
I know. A classic story can be interpreted differently from reader to reader. People usually imagine the scenes based on authors' descriptions, but what actually influences them is their own feelings and their emotions and experience. A film or TV series versions can be better or worse than the original one, just based on how people perceive it.
I think recently there's a hot discussion about the business of making popular novels for films or television. So if there's enough public demand, they're also made into video games. And sometimes the video games are released earlier than the film to be made.
Well, I think science fiction is usually adapted with the greatest success. After all, it's only fiction. And, you know, imaginary things and settings can be made by powerful post-production. And compared to other genres, is much easier to satisfy readers. Take Harry Potter, for example.
Yeah, in my experience, love stories are usually more to be successfully adapted because they're just simply more popular in public.
But there are always some exceptions. I will be so disappointed if the film actors don't represent the characters described in the original book.
Right, you know that casting is actually so important. The personalities and characteristics of the actors are supposed to match the characters in the novel. And also, with more the acting itself is actually of great importance. Although there are a lot of actors with acceptable performance skills, there are few actors who are truly amazing.
Well, you know that nowadays, to keep up with the latest trend, many film and television programs are designed for younger actors who are actually very popular at the moment, but specifically to draw the attentions and their popularities among the fans. This usually demonstrates that the producers cares more about the profit and the money rather than the originality, and causing the fans of the original book to be very critical of this behavior and consider this to be very disrespectful to the original work. And many TV plays in China produced to meet the requirements of the market rather than to respect the original work and the quality, making it very difficult to make them become real classics.
It is indeed highly influenced by the market. If the directors and the producers see quality as their priority, these works are usually become very great works. But these movie makers just seem to settle for good enough rather than great, even if the audiences want to pay more for quality.
You know, in my opinion, remaking popular novels into films or plays also opens up great opportunities for the author himself. He or she could offer great insight into the inspiration that made the original novel so popular. You know, J.K. Rowling is proof of this. When Harry Potter was being adapted for film, she insisted on only creative control and refused to let the producers make decisions that went against her original vision for the story.
Well, that's a really good example. I think if producers pay more attention to quality and communicate more with the author and the fans, I believe that the quality of the movie can certainly be better.